you know that whole first mission where you kill Castro and stuff, Fake Castro and BO1.
Yep, and then
Is that
Cuba actually got mad about that, by the way.
Did they really?
Yeah, they got upset. They're saying like, "Oh, you couldn't do it in real life, so you're doing it in the game."
Yeah. Pretty much.
You're agreeing with Cuba, Riley. This isn't good. Isn't Cuba communist, right?
They were.
Oh, they were. When did they stop being communist?
After the motherland fell.
Oh,
After basically, alright, so for a while this dude named Castro lived in Mexico City, Mexico. He grew an awesome mustache and met this other dude and was like, we should overthrow the Cuban government. And he overthrew the Cuban government, alright, and he made the country communist. So he was a communist who hated America. Russia was a communist who hated America. So that's how the whole Cuban Missile Crisis went down. But in 1991, well, in 1960 they had the Cuban Missile Crisis, and from 1960 to
it said I don't know if I don't know if the site was like completely reliable, but it said 1965 to 1991.
Yeah, pretty much.
65 to 91 was communist.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because with the fall of the Soviet Union in 191.
Wait, 65? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, let me look after that.
Because
65.
That makes no sense because
59, I think 59.
Alright, I was about to say because the Cuban Missile Crisis was in 1963.
No, okay, listen. Since 1965, the state has been governed by the Communist Party of Cuba. The country was at a point of contention during the Cold War between the Soviet Union and the United States during a nuclear war nearly broke out during the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. So it's saying it almost switched in 1962, but didn't. But then it later switched in 65. Is what they're saying.
I swear.
So it didn't during the Missile Crisis, but then did later after the crisis. I was kind of reading that instead of playing, so.
Oh man. Well, that could be true. I don't know. But basically, after the Cuban Missile Crisis, one of the treaties was America said no putting missiles on Cuba or like in this area, and Russia said fine, but you have to not invade Cuba like ever. And basically Russia, or the USSR at the time, like supported Cuba by giving it food, water, basic needs, you know. But when it fell in 91, it was like, oh no. And like they had to stop using communism because it wasn't working, because they were getting all of it off of Russia. And so when they found out communism doesn't work, they were like, ooh no. And Fidel was just like, ooh no.
There's legit actual people on TikTok that support communism.
You know, so Alex, you do know people today, countries today still use communism.
I know. It doesn't work well.
Yeah, it does.
Not well.
Not well, but have you seen China?
Can...
China has 1 billion population, still growing, best economic country, and it's communist.
Here's a fucking problem. Well, I don't know if it's best economic.
It is. China is literally.
But the only reason it's best economic is because it's trading.
Yeah, because it.
It's not best economic because of people getting everything, like everyone getting the same shit. It's not because of that. It's not because of that at all. It's because the actual higher ups can trade. It's not because of communism. It's because of trading. Trading.
Still,
so
I don't think they're gonna change.
No,
well, communism in a whole is bad, but like.
Communism never has worked so far, but you need to. But in a way, it could. But you need to have a society where
You need to have a society that supports it, and you need to have a society that doesn't rebel against it, because that's what all.
You basically just need a. You basically just need a society where. You just basically need a society that doesn't fucking lives in perfect harmony at that point, you know.
Oh, I get the same paycheck as everyone else. Oh, I'm fine with that.
Exactly, because it's like I do the more work, and you know people still get the same amount of money as me. All right.
I shovel coal mines for 24 hours a day while this guy sleeps on his couch. Yeah.
And gets the same amount of money as me. Yeah, that's, you know, I'm alright with that. You know, more power to him.
Good job.
Exactly. Because, like, there's no, like, there's no way, like, you can be like, yeah, you know, I work for so much and this guy doesn't work at all. Yeah, that's fair. That's never gonna fucking happen with any, it's not even because, like, people today, it's just people at all. That's just human intuition. It's just, work more, I get paid more. That's why I think capitalist societies are so much, have always just, capitalism equals motivation, you know?
Yeah, but like, here's the thing. So many generations have already used, or have gone through communism and stuff. I think it's already, like normal for them. Already. Yeah.
I just don't think it teaches human intuition well enough.
Well, tell that to Putin. Maybe get arrested. Well, this is a serious talk about communism.
Well, isn't Putin still the head of Russia, and Russia isn't communist anymore? I thought. Russia's capitalist now.
Yeah, Russia's capitalist. But only because of what happened in 1990. Because basically, since the dawn of the USSR, there had been corrupt leaders who basically were putting more money in, instead of feeding the people or putting stuff into the people, they were always putting money into guns, ammunition, like the space race. Basically, they were always doing that. They were never spending money on the actual people.
Well, it's also because, like, fuck the United States, and also it gets to the point where they're gonna have to start putting, like, another problem with communism is that, like, the lack of motivation is gonna have to cause leaders to force people to do work, and no one's gonna want that either. No one's gonna be forced to do extra work just for them to be paid like shit, or someone else can do nothing and then also still get paid like shit. But that they can't not do the work because then they'll get fucking forced to, you know?
Yeah.
That's why communism's always been, like, an issue. Especially with, like, I feel like there's such a reason and such, like, a big problem with the US is because, like, we're not gonna be forced to tell, like, to work and shit like that, because, like, that's what the whole US was, like, built off of, was not being forced to do shit. That's how we kind of became independent, is because Britain was telling us to do shit.
No, they were just taxing us. We didn't like it.
But that was basically that we were mad because they were forcing taxes on us and shit like that.
They weren't really forcing on it. They
forced us to pay war debts for the French and Indian.
Yeah, they did. But it's like half the time we didn't even pay it, so they just got all pissy with it.
Exactly. But it's still like, in our eyes, they were forcing it on us. Like,
yeah.
You could say in a basis they were forcing it.
Yep.
And that's why it's just like, it's kind of fucked. It's like, it's like, you know, you can support whatever you want, but in my opinion, I'm not gonna fucking support communism. Fuck that. Especially me, where I hate being told what to do. Cause I think that's just life. That's like kind of the reason why teenagers all have a fucking, like, independent phase. It's because people don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's just not how humans were. That's just not how humans are built to fucking live. You know? This is like a super deep talk about communism with, like, fucking Overwatch.